good. I knew that I wouldn't. I feel good. I knew that I wouldn't. So good, so good. I got you.
The last time we met was at Channel 7 after your visit to the White House.
Well,
And you talked about then while we were at 7 how your visit was to ask about jobs
yes.
and the need for jobs for black youth.
Well, I didn't say black, and I think I can understand you using the word, but you know, in 1968, I recorded Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, because black, at that time, they take it to be a negative. And it wouldn't be wrong to keep hand-rate yourself, join the crowd, you understand? You can find yourself being one that will segregate yourself. You know, our race of people are the only people that label themselves. And sometimes other people say a thing about like Patriots' days, like their forefathers' days and what have you, but we don't need to separate ourselves. And I'll tell you, I was the first one, since the separation at one time was a negative, I thought I'd help with God's help, give me the strength and energy to make it a positive. And when it became a positive, then we can be guilty of what had been oppressed on us and put on us for so long, separation. Separatism is not the answer, it's togetherness. The song that We'll Win or When This Love Together, things like that. Now, these are things that we need, you know, to kind of neutralize what has been done, the iniquity that has been held against us, the sin that has been also used. And now that it's been recognized by people like Garvey's, Kennedy's, Roy Wilkerson, Martin Luther King, Elijah Muhammad, a lot of beautiful people that really gave their life. I can respect the fact that Dr. Martin Luther King used the same concept and idea from Gandhi, which was very thoughtful and very fruitful in the lives of humanity. Hadn't he had used that approach and tried to get about the same message across to people, there might have been a lot of bloodshed, that one that we wouldn't want to be a part of, because the bloodshed is not the answer to quenching the problem. It's like quenching the thirst. It has to be done with a little sugar, other than so much salt. So if we use now and we separate ourselves at this point, then we're setting ourselves back 400 years. And I urge you and you out there not to do it. Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud was one of pride, dignity, and integrity. And that has gone. That's 68. Let's not live the 60s. Then look for the hundreds, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, whatever, and try to carry ourselves to the next step. The next phase in life is a melting pot. It's one thing I like about that Reagan said, I don't see no color. And when a man don't see color, then that's a lot of the battle that's been missing. I mean, one thing I give him credit, I followed a lot of presidents throughout the world. I endorsed Nixon at one point. He didn't ask me. I endorsed him because I believe in strong government. And anybody that has strong government to me has my vote and the way of thought and way of organizing. It's about organization, you know, not about separatism.
I stand
Separation is not the idea, it's organization. And let me finish saying, if I'm here, I like to get myself across and let people know where I'm coming from. Then I'll answer the questions you throw at me. I had an interview once with this young man I introduced you to earlier today, Steve Bloom. And I said in New York, we had a magazine called Soho. And I said a lot of the blacks that came to New York and were looking for the promised land, that they should have go back to where they came from, because now what they left is now in demand. Farms in demand. I said you should go back and do what you know. I mean, why would a shoemaker want to be at a carpenter's ball? Be where you're strong, and that makes you be a part of what it is. The United Nations has every country representing their nation. Represent yourself. And one thing we represent is what we know. I know entertainment. I can dilly-dally in politics. I'm a scientist of sound. So I go back to what I'm about, what I know better than anybody that's around today, basically. And when I got 800 and something songs, as opposed to most people having 200, 300, 500, when I look at Mozart, Schubert, Strauss, Beethoven, Bach, and Mantovani, and Marvin Wright, and people like that, and different things, music people that are out there, the personalities that I cared to think for so long. And I see myself, like Da Vinci said in his memoirs, James Brown, has been so long with the fourth B, but now we want to make him the third B, because we feel that he has made a contribution a lot more vast than a lot of the other Bs. And we feel he should take a step up. And I thought that was nice. I didn't want to separate myself, but I was included, and that's what we're talking about here. So I hope that's over. Now what you want to ask me, I'm ready to wrap with
Well, I
you.
was going to stand corrected because from the moment you said that you didn't mention black people, it all came back how you had mentioned all people and
Yes,
the
right.
strength of what you had said at that
Yes.
time. At that time, I didn't quite understand.
Well, I was with my visitors the other day, and we were talking about religion. I'm very religious. I'm a Baptist. But this young man, we're talking, and the fellow whom house, the man I visited, his wife was Korean. And we were talking about Baptists, and we were all into our religion. So I looked, I said, wait a minute, we must include this lady. Because I said, what are you? She said, I'm Buddhist. I said, well, you know, this is another front, a religious spiritual front that everybody needs. You hear the phone ring, that's because we're in a business setting and everybody want to be a part of what we're talking about. So anybody hear the phone in the background, it's just a part of what you're about, communications. But I expressed to the gentleman that we were talking that her religion was just as important to her as ours was. But we're all talking about one God. It's like traveling to a city, a main city. Some take the freeway, some take the service road, some take the back road, some take the air, some take the land, and some take the sea. So as long as we're going to the same place, that's what's important. So regardless of what your religion is, regardless of what your beliefs, if you're serving the same spirit and serving the Creator, then you're on cue and on target. Mm-hmm. Okay?
I grew up one of your great fans and followers, and not just because you were saying, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud,
Yeah.
but because of the energy and what you actually
Well, the attributes that were
to the
made there,
stage.
it was an attribute, like I said, to take a negative and make a positive. And that's what I was trying to be a part of and trying to do. America's a melting pot, thank God. We do have a concept of government this way. Now, we're not always pleased with what we're doing, but one thing about it, we do have the thought there. And it's for us to emphasize and base and extend that idea into where we want it to go.
Now, you're carrying an awful strong message. I love your message. Are you working right now in any other ways? We will give your message to the Bay Area, but are you working to spread that message?
Just living each and every day. I'm working with world impact on world hunger, which can be hunger for many things. We're dealing with sending food out to people all across the country and helping them, and making sure that we try to help some of those people less fortunate. By the same token, the night that I made a strong contribution to UNCF, because mine is a terrible thing to waste in regards to where it's coming from. But hunger is not just for food. It's for communication. It's for information. Hunger is for survival, whatever ways it's directed, as long as it's not violence, and it can be something positive and something harmonious. We should be a part of it. Education has to be one of the strongest points to ever be made, because what you know about, nobody can take away from it. And that's very important to me. So I am with impact on world hunger, but what it can be for jobs, it can be for education, it can be whatever make you survive. We are survivors.
The young people of today are playing your music very heavily on.
Well, they are aware. My great-grandfather, your great-grandfather, which would be my father, didn't really understand what I was saying. They want me to put it one way. You know, like I say, if you go to a restaurant, we all don't have to eat steak. We all don't have to eat veal. We all don't have to eat pork. We all don't have to eat chicken or turkey. We eat what we like, but we're all getting a meal, and we're all food for the body, food for thought. We got such a groove and such a flow going here, I don't want to break it. Keep on rapping, brother.
Okay.
But I try to ad-lib and keep it going.
What I'm thinking about is, I know people ask you to give words of wisdom to the kids all the time, but I think of the kids are in trouble because the parents in many cases today don't have the times for the kids.
We need better models. We got to have better models.
Could you give a word of advice to the parents then?
Well, the parents have a duty to themselves. There must be a role model. If there's not a role model, I mean, you see a suit. It was made from one model. You see a car. It was made from one model. So was a body. We were made from one model with the image of God. God said he made man in his own image. So we have to take that and use it for the betterment of humanity. We've got to use it where the body can, you know, the body and the brain are two different things going on there. The brain that tells the body what to do. The body actually functions and carries it out. The body is kind of like a limousine for the brain. It takes the brain where it want to go. But by the same token, they both have to work together, like salt and pepper. You know, you can't have too much salt without some pepper. It makes it all go together. So my idea is to kind of keep a neutral, organized thought and a concept of humanity all the time that you're traveling. Wrapped in, my brother.